Hi everybody, welcome to another TC Gen Racing vehicle review. Today we're going to have something fantastic. It's probably the most valuable Corvette ever made. It's my 1963 Corvette Stingray Split Window Coupe fuel injected 327 cubic inch engine with 360 horsepower. I was able to acquire this car back in 1999 at Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale, Arizona. I really believe this is the holy grail of Corvette collectors. It has an iconic styling. It blew the world away when it first came out for its world debut in 1963. They made 21,000 Corvettes in 1963, and it's the only year they built more open-top cars than closed coupes. And out of the 21,000 Corvettes they made, about 1/10 of them, about 2,600, were fuel injected, and those are the really desirable ones. When you went to the dealer to buy one of these, there was no deals. You had to pay sticker or above sticker just to get one. This picture shows the iconic hubcaps that came on the car. It takes 22 pieces of metal just to make one of those hubcaps. They did have an option on the order sheet to get Kelsey Hayes cast wheels, but there was a porosity problem and they were worried about the air being able to escape from the tire, and so they did not really deliver any Corvette Stingrays with those wheels in 63 as far as any records can tell. Anyway, here's a beautiful look at the back end of the split window coupe. You can see that line going from the rear end up over the roof and to the front. The design, they called this car the Stingray, and the Stingray had a lot of styling influence on this car. Bill Mitchell, who was the head of GM styling at the time, had invested into a racing program. Back in the late 1950s, car manufacturers were prohibited from actively engaging in nationally sanctioned race events. So Bill Mitchell, he privately entered some racing, and he used a lot of the technology from their racing experiences to incorporate into the 1963 Corvette Stingray. So when it came out, it had independent rear suspension. They had worked on the steering. They had added a lot of race technology to the car, and it handled and drove like a dream, and it caused great demand for this car. In this picture, you can see some of the features. It just showed the AM/FM Wonder Bar radio. Back in the day, that was kind of trick. In this picture, you can see the hood. It opened up from the opposite way that most cars' hoods open. And inside the engine bay, you can get a glimpse of the Rochester fuel injection system. In this example, the Rochester mechanical fuel injection is chromed, and you can see some other parts are chromed inside the engine bay. You can see a sticker that advertises 360 horsepower. It's on the valve cover. And this was the most powerful of 4 engine options you could get. The most powerful one was the L84 engine, and it was rated 5.8 seconds from 0 to 60. For back in the 60s, that was really fast. And so the car set a lot of records, and people just drooled over this car. If you were able to see one going down the street, you really liked it. Even today, if I drive that around, it just it gets the thumbs up and everybody waves, because it was really America's sports car. This you can see that cap and badge on the back deck below the window. That's really the fuel tank area. You flip up that lid and then you have access to the fuel tank. You can see the headlight system in this photograph. Those headlights would fold away to make the car more aerodynamic. There were little electric motors inside the housing unit, and there was a switch on the dashboard. It looked kind of like a power window switch from the 60s that went. You can move it in a superior direction and an inferior direction. And what it did, it opened up the headlights. There's the fuel injection emblem. It's highly coveted. If you ever see that fuel injection badge on the side of a Corvette or any Chevrolet, that's a hot rod. This shows the back end design, how beautiful it was. Those stylish fenders that have the raised line on them. Like I say, the styling was taken from the Stingray, and this was the first year that the Stingray was incorporated in the name of the Corvette. can see the stylish round tail lights and the chrome bumpers. They were kind of partially there. They went halfway, well, about a third of the way across of the bumper, and it left place for the license plate. Very interesting and stylish. Anyway, we can talk a little bit about the split window. Back in '63, it was highly controversial. Bill Mitchell, the head of GM Styling, really liked the split in the back window, but Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette, and Larry Shinoda, they didn't really like that split going down the back window. And it was thought that if you were driving and looking in the rearview mirror, they thought it would hamper the rear view of the car and traffic. You might not see traffic coming. So in 1964, they took out the split and made it a single piece. And a lot of guys that owned 63 split windows, they took out the split and incorporated a single piece of glass to make it look like it was a year newer. Nowadays, we find out that that was a big mistake. Since the 1963 Corvette was a one-year design, it's highly valuable, highly desirable, and you want that split to go in the back window. In this picture, we can see my Z06 Corvette from 2007 paying homage to the styling of the original Stingray back in 1962. If you notice the profile, it's very elegant, it's very sleek, it's very aerodynamic.